The upper Snake Basin is entering a really tight water year. We don't see high precipitation in the next 2 months. We've likely already seen our peak storage level for this year, which could be the earliest that we've seen the storage level peak. Today, my name is Brian Stevens. I work as the Water Operations Manager in the Upper Snake Basin for reclamation. Looking at our snowpack, we are in a tight position this year. We're in a tough year. Snowpack is quite low. The total snow water equivalent in the basin is really low. We're tracking the lowest levels that we've ever seen on record. We peaked out about 64% of our normal peak, which is about 6 inches in about early March. When we typically see the peak, this year we peaked out at about 4 inches, and that's across the basin. Right now we're seeing about 47% of average today. So this early melt out that happened in March is leaving us even in a tighter spot for this year because we have less runoff left to come off the basin this year. And the runoff is used on a daily basis by irrigation districts, similar to a daily run to the grocery store. When we go to the grocery store, some items are perishable and some aren't. And this water, as it runs off, that's perishable goods that are available that day and not necessarily the day after or months or weeks later. So this is critical for water supply, that we have that water come off the basin out of the mountains throughout the year. Looking at snowpack, this is a similar year, 2007, a really dry year with low snowpack, and a couple highlighted spots here in the Henry's Fork Basin near Island Park Reservoir, and then in the headwaters of the Snake River up around Jackson Lake up in Grand Teton National Park. And I'll toggle to the next picture here. Is showing 2026, and there's some marked differences. We've had some snow in the recent weeks and days that has accumulated, but in the mountains we have quite a bit less snow than we did in 2007 in some spots. Like we're up around Island Park in 2007. You can see as we toggle that there's less snowpack up in the mountains in this year than we had in 2007. So this year could be a really impactful year getting down to low levels. So looking at the reservoir system, on the right is an image showing how much water is in each reservoir in the basin. And this water that's in the reservoir system is important and critical for the basin because this is the water that's stored for later use in this year. This is analogous to goods that we store in our pantries for later use that are unperishable, that is only finite supply. So irrigation districts, they use this strategically throughout the year to be able to supply water to their crops. Right now we're sitting at 74% full in the basin, which is near average. Island Park on its own is sitting at 96% full, and typically we're about 90% full. So Island Park is sitting pretty good there with storage. And looking at a graph of how the water year progresses, during the wintertime, we store water from runoff in the basin. And in the springtime, when the snowpack peaks or snowmelt peaks in runoff and irrigation diversions pick up for the year, then that slows the rise of storage in the basin. And once irrigation demand exceeds runoff in the basin, then the storage levels in the basin peak and start to go down as irrigation demand continues to increase. And I was showing 2007 as a similar snow year. This year, we have good storage comparatively to other years, but the somewhat good storage combined with the really low snowpack could lead to extremely low levels of reservoir contents this fall. We could reach empty. The lowest that we've seen on record is down around 350,000 acre feet for a minimum. This year, we could reach that or even go lower, depending on how precipitation goes for the next couple months. So in summary, there's quite high diversion rates in the basin right now that are causing the system to peak in storage level fairly early here in April. That combined with the low snowpack um, and the warm temperatures that we've seen, the yearly peak is relatively early. This could be the earliest that we've ever seen the the storage peak. If we don't get high precipitation in May and June, then there's a really good chance that we've already seen the peak storage levels in the basin, and we'll be drafting from here. This storage in the reservoirs supports the natural flow deliveries for water to irrigation districts in the basin. So the natural flow is really important, as is the storage. Um, on reclamation's end, we're coordinating with irrigation districts as they call for water to deliver water that they have right to. So the low storage levels that we're seeing, plus the low remaining runoff, could lead to a really extremely low, potentially historically low reservoir levels this fall that we're tracking and working with the water users in the basin to operate the system efficiently. And on the irrigation district side, they're all looking at efficiency of deliveries into their system to have success this year and set themselves up for as best success they can have for next year.